What's up, guys? Mike here again with the Sunday special, coming to you from the dungeon. I'll try to keep this as short as possible. I've noticed something recently that it's kind of weird, and maybe maybe it's just me. I don't know, but it seems like if you start to detangle yourself, let's say for example, if you're a Christian and then you start to detangle yourself from let me go a little deeper, like if you're a conservative Christian, okay, and you start to, which is my history, and you start to detangle yourself from some of those things and question those things, then there tends to be, it appears to me that there tends to be this radical shift, almost like to leftism. It's really weird. So I'll give you some examples that I've seen online, and I've got an example in real life. So real life, my personal life. I mean, you just see this. It's like, people who are like biblical historians, or have deconstructed from Christianity, and they start to question things, they deconstruct, and then maybe they're curious about Darwinism or evolution or something, and then they become like, so like in this former life they were like conservative Christians, Republicans, Trump supporters, right? At least that's what it appears, right? And then they drop the Christianity, for example, and then out goes everything else. It's like, I don't want to say baby, throwing out the baby with the bathwater, but that's what they do. And then, and then it's like they completely shift to this other side where it's like they're completely left. They're like LGBTQ activists. It's kind of, like, what is it, climate change. They're like, suddenly they're climate change activists, and they're all these things like that you would imagine with the other side. And it's like, wow, okay, so to me, someone who like, I see this happening, and I'm like, okay, so I'm outside of that because I can see it happening. And it's like, am I alone in this? Is this like weird? Am I like a weird animal? Because I would rather, like, instead of like wildly swinging from left to right, that I would like rather stay like in some sort of like consistent mode. I mean, if I would say that even if I identified as a conservative Christian, my outlook socially was pretty liberal. Like, I'm very conservative, like there's a technical term, but I'm not very smart. Like monetarily, right? Fiscally, I'm very like fiscally conservative, in the sense where I feel like the government shouldn't be spending tax dollars, wasting tax money, but also, like, me personally, I don't like feel like I should be just wasting money on frivolous things, right? Like, I do have a lot of stuff, but I'm just like throwing out money all the time on frivolous things, right? So I'm conservative fiscally, but then socially I'm very liberal. Like, I feel like people should be able to do pretty much like what they want to do. Like, I'm very anti-government in that sense, right? Like, people should be able to do what they want to do. And it's just so weird to hear these people's stories where they dramatically shift from one side to the other. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like me, like, it doesn't have to be that way. You can be like not an idiot. Like, you don't have to go full retard just because you're challenging beliefs on this side, or you're debunking beliefs on this side or you're changing doesn't mean that you go full retard. You don't have to go full retard. Like, you don't have to do that. Like, what? I don't get it. Like, who are you? Okay, like you become less trustworthy because instead of being someone who like questions things, now it seems like you've become someone who is like antagonistic towards those things that you once believed. So this is like what I pay attention to, right? So if I'm researching evolution or Darwinism and I'm happen to be listening to someone who was a former Christian or something, and then if they start bad-mouthing Christianity, it's like, okay, like it seems like you've got an axe to grind, okay? That doesn't mean that what you're saying isn't maybe true or valid, but you're losing some credibility with me. Like it's something that I'm probably not gonna like I'm probably not gonna listen to you anymore because you're tainted. You're tainted with this animosity, okay? And it's just so crazy. You don't have to go full retard. You just don't. I was listening to a guy the other day, and he was basically, it was his story, and I was just listening to it to kind of like pass the time or something, I don't know. And it was somebody who basically went from very conservative Christianity to atheism, right? And then he's saying this stuff like that just like isn't true, like about like current politics. So one thing you need to know about me is I am not an expert. I am no kind of expert. Let me think for a second. Is there anything in my life that I would consider myself to be an expert on? No, not one thing. The closest that I would get would probably be like fitness and like working out because I've been doing that longer than just about anything else, but it's just experiential, right? And I happen to know a lot about it. It's something I'm interested in, but it's still something where like, if I go down that rabbit hole, like I learn things that I didn't know before. So I'm not an expert on anything. I don't ever intend to be an expert on anything. I'm certainly not an expert on politics or biblical history or theology, but I will say that like I know a lot about some of these categories. And when you're talking about things and the things that you're saying are false, not that they're just like that maybe you're just ignorant or something, which it's like what you're saying is false. You're saying something like, for example, he said that, he basically accused the Trump administration of taking away public education. Dude, that's false, okay? That's false. It just is. It's like you have gone full retard. Is that if you say something like that sounds so outlandish, okay, and that's your position? Like, first of all, if you believe something outlandish, you should look into it, right? We talked about this in a previous video. If there's something that sounds too good to be true, you should probably look into it. And if you're saying that the president of the United States is taking away public education, and you believe that, like, you're losing credibility. So I don't care I don't care what you are. If you're right, left, whatever, if you say things that are just false because you hold this outlandish belief and you just don't look into it, it's like, okay, well, maybe I just can't with you anymore, right? I just can't with you anymore. So, but it just seems like, look, you don't have to give up conservatism and then go full retard, okay? Like you don't give up your Bible and then cut your dick off, right? Maybe some of you should, but it's just so weird, man. It's just such a weird thing that I see, and it's almost like makes me feel superior, which I probably shouldn't. Like I shouldn't puff myself up any more than I already am, although I know that I'm a lowly piece of shit and all this other stuff. But damn, dude, it's like the level of retard. It's the level of retard to me. And I think this is probably a true statement, although I am privileged in this and that I am biased, but I feel like if you're on the extremes of anything, you're probably full retard. And that most people should be in the middle. Most sensible, smart people are in the middle. They're not full retard. Okay? Just because I think that, the majority of the Bible is fiction, right? Fiction. Doesn't mean that suddenly now I'm okay with men and women's sports. What the? No. These don't have anything to do with each other. I could change my mind about this thing without going full fucking retard. God. So weird. So I'm going to tell you, I know personal examples of people who have done this very thing that I know them, right? And they have literally ultra conservative, not even Christian, not what I would consider. Let me rephrase it. Let me see if that's true. Would I consider their cult to be Christian? No, probably not. Not Orthodox in any way. But anyway, they're in this cult that's quasi-Christian, okay? Very conservative. And then, I don't know if something happens. Maybe they get hurt. They get damaged by people in the church. I don't know what it is. Their feelings get hurt. I don't know what happened. But then all of a sudden, they skipped all of this area and they went boom over here. And now it's anything goes. It's identify as a light bulb. Men's and women's bathrooms and and it's just full retard. Dude, don't go full retard. Because what happens is there's a couple things that happen. You were a retard and then you're just a retard. So you're a retard. You're just a retard. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's the answer for me, is just to stay away from fucking retards. That could be it. But what you've done in reality is you've traded one cult for another. Where you thought that you were making progress, and all you didn't do anything. You just turned around. It's heads one day, tails the next. And it might as well be, because today you're a man and yesterday you were a woman. It's like, dude, don't go full retard. Just don't go full retard. Just because you think that the stories in the Bible are allegorical, and just because you can't find any true history in there, and you're not even sure that any of the New Testament writers are credible, it doesn't in reality devalue the importance of the books, right? This is the largest religious cult on the planet. So in some way, this is significant, just objectively significant, right? Right, you can't just be like, oh, everybody over here should be dismissed. Dude, this is a significant portion of the population of the world. You can't just dismiss them, okay? So this book is significant, even if you don't believe it. But so at the same time, even if you don't believe it, you don't have to go over here where you're completely fucking retarded. You're completely fucking retarded. Okay? You don't have to do that. Don't be completely fucking retarded over here and blind and ignorant and brainwashed into your cult, and then switch over here and be completely blind and ignorant and brainwashed into this cult. You're not making progress. You are the reason that I get headaches. Theoretically, right? Honestly, I don't give a fuck. I'm just making these videos so that you understand me, right? And that you understand how I think. And it's like the most difficult position that you can hold is this middle position, because everyone thinks you're crazy, yet they're the ones that are nuts. Right? And this is a 15-minute video, probably one of the shorter ones I've done. But the main thing I'm trying to say for the fourth or fifth time I've said it, is just because you find that maybe some of the things you believed when you were young just aren't true, doesn't mean that you throw who you are out and you embrace the icky, gross retards. Don't. Just because I know that deodorant, right, has chemicals in it, doesn't mean that I quit using deodorant. I just find a better one. Okay? Just because I want to smell good or not stink, I don't just suddenly change to stinking. Okay? I just get a better deodorant. That's it.